All right, Jet fans. I would bet we're feeling a little torn over this one. But overall, Jets wind up winning, coming away with victory 26-21 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jets wind up improving to 4-11 on the season. For those of you wondering, this does put the Jets still in the fourth overall draft selection slot by winning today. All but I think it does eliminate them from number one overall, which is fine. So let's go over thoughts about everything. Jets had 20 players on the COVID list. They did not have their head coach and Robert Saleh. They were without their top three wide receiver options. They were without both starting guards. And then unfortunately, Connor McGovern goes down with an injury towards the end of this game. So hopefully he's healthy. He was grabbing at his knee. So maybe we wind up thinking safe or center a little bit earlier than we had otherwise hoped for come draft time. But overall, Zach goes 14 of 22, 102 yards and a touchdown, has four rushes for 91 yards and an additional touchdown. So overall, damn near 200 yards and two touchdowns. You really can't complain with what you got out of Zach Wilson today. By and large, I felt when I'm watching Trevor Lawrence and I'm watching Zach Wilson, I'm kind of keeping an eye on both of them. I felt that Zach did not have to throw much. I felt like we were able to generate enough yardage on the ground that we didn't have to put Zach out there in terms of throwing the ball all over the field. Where on the Jaguar side of things, especially once Robinson winds up going out with what seems like a torn Achilles, he had to continuously throw the ball to put themselves in a position to almost win it right there at the end. And I'll be lying if I wasn't a little hopeful that maybe a touchdown would get scored at the end of that game. I don't mind losing by way of our defense, but that number one overall pick or top two overall pick would have been, pretty nice with the two edge rushers, both Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau there. But look, overall, what could we get out of Zach Wilson? We were hoping to see some progress. This is another game with no interceptions. I thought he effectively managed the game well. I thought that from what I've heard, it seems like Robert Saleh challenged Zach to try and pick up some more yardage on the ground. It seems like he's leaving a lot out there. This is definitely where I felt Zach could have improved the most. His running game. I'd like to see more RPOs and things of that nature because the guy is lethal with his legs. Just him stepping around the pocket was, something we got to see throughout the entirety of this season. And now we're starting to see it come together on the ground game itself. So if you're upset with the way we won this game, don't be upset. Seriously, don't be. I understand wanting the number one overall pick, and it would have been great if you wind up losing on that last play. But by and large, the Jets were the better team today. Flat out. We went for it on fourth down. We went for it on fake field goals or extra points or whatever. I mean, across the board, the Jets did everything they could to attempt to give the game back to the Jaguars. So the fact that we wound up winning in such a way with Michael Carter having himself a nice day. Michael Carter winds up going 16 rushes, 118 yards. That's good for 7.4 yards per carry. Berrios had another nice return. This guy deserves a spot on this roster next year. So across the board, I really liked what we got out of this team. I thought Zach Wilson led his team better than Trevor Lawrence, but I would say Trevor Lawrence had the more impressive passing day. And if you're looking at just the highlights from the two of them, you're probably saying Trevor Lawrence had himself the better game, which he did because Zach Wilson did not have to rely on his arm the way Trevor Lawrence did. So 4-11, Jets double their win total from last year. Braxton Berrios winds up showing up to the post-game interview in a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer onesie. I don't know. What are you guys talking about in the chat? You guys seem pretty upset. It seems like it's pretty torn across the board. Adam S. says, stop rooting for losses. That's just it. You want to, if you get the loss, it's fine. At this point, I don't need the number one overall pick because we have our quarterback already in Zach Wilson. So, Do I want the first or second best edge rusher? I would love it. I like 4. I'm not, not losing my mind here. Matthew says, if we win games and our quarterback does what he's supposed to do, then we don't need to worry about the draft pick order. Like, that is a complete loser mentality. We should have lost. I get that we need the edge. I'm going to keep saying it. Would it have been nice to get that top pick? Sure. Hey, you know what? Maybe we'll be sitting here come May or end of April, and we're going to be, really upset that we got this win. Every year it happens. Every year. Just go into this end of the season and just assume the Jets are going to disappoint you, and you'll be just fine. Just fine. Anthony says we missed out on a generational talent. To get the generational talent, I do think you probably needed number 1 overall. It depends who you're talking about, because Hutchinson and Thibodeau, neither guy is like dead set generational. Hutchinson seems like a really, really safe player. Would love him, but it doesn't always equal better player. So it's all part of the game, my friends. Jake Klein seems to be upset. Wow, we beat the Jags. Congrats. Screwing up the pick with a win and a worthless game. Again, I'll say that the Jets did everything they could to give this game back to the Jaguars, and they were going for it on 4th down. They were doing the, fake kicks and things like that. And if we had lost, I would have counted it as a win, because we gave it back to them. Like, I think in most seasons, you're kicking field goals at those points. Would we leave 6 or 9 points on the field? Get the hell out of here. We're fine. Not fine. We still need a lot of help. But we beat the Jaguars, right? The worst thing that could have happened was Trevor Lawrence winds up having this great passing day. The Jets lose, and now I got to hear all about it on social media and everything. Or maybe this was the worst case, and Zach doesn't have the amazing game, has a nice game, but then everyone's going to talk about how the Jets screwed up their draft pick, where the Jaguars, they did everything right. They lost the game they were supposed to. They're going to get the generational talent. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. 2nd year in a row. Well, it worked out so good for them this year, didn't it? They wound up hiring a flop of a head coach. Trevor Lawrence is having a stinker of a season. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want Zach to do better too, but he's got a significantly better last stretch of games than Trevor Lawrence does. Forget it. Jets says, let's just tank every year. That's what it feels like. I want to win some games. Orlando C says it should have been a blowout. It really could have been a blowout. Like, the Jets had that opportunity. If they wind up scoring on a few of those 4th and goal or trick plays, this really should not have been a close game at all. Gitmo Bob says would like to get the 3rd pick. That's really what you want. Ideally. The thing that sucks, though, is that Detroit more than likely is going to take Aiden Hutchinson if he's there. Or Jacksonville. I think either one of those two are I think both those teams take defensive ends. The Texans are the team that could potentially take a quarterback in front of us. So we may wind up with like a situation where both top edges are gone. And then we're kind of sitting at either, okay, do we take the 3rd edge rusher? Do we go with the offensive lineman? Do we go with the safety with Hamilton? There's a lot of ways this could all play out here. Adam S. says, re-sign Berrios immediately. Yes. Braxton Berrios should be immediately re-signed. I think he has done a wonderful job this year from start to finish. He has been one of the most reliable wide receivers and special teams players, and he should be starting for the Pro Bowl, in my opinion. Gohan Engard says, yes, we could still get Linderbaum. Linderbaum could be a very realistic selection now with depending on what happens with McGovern. If McGovern's knee is jacked up, that could be a seriously big blow to this offensive line. Kevin says, Zach is slowly building. Decision-making is better, and now getting comfortable with the speed of the game, baby steps. Kevin, I completely agree. I feel like we have seen progress from Zach Wilson through the second half of this season since he's been injured. I do think the second half of the season is an easier test than the beginning part of the season, but I also think he's without a lot of his weapons. He doesn't have Elijah Moore. He doesn't have Corey Davis. He didn't have Jameson Crowder today. So for him to be able to do these types of things is very, very nice. Denon says, got to go O-line with the 4th pick. It might just be the best position to go at that point. You get either the generational center that people are talking about, you get a tackle and Neal, possibly one of those two. And then who knows, maybe you take the edge rusher with the next pick. Who knows? Maybe one of the edge rushers fall. Maybe someone likes an offensive lineman ahead of us. We don't have to worry about it. I like a few of the guys that are going to wind up being there. What else are we talking about? James Beatty. Ryan, I'm conflicted. Did we jet for winning? We're upset. We're kind of in that weird flux, right? Like I understand fans being upset with not getting the draft pick because you're looking at the long-term goal. But this didn't feel like a game that like it. I would have been upset if Zach played poorly and we wound up winning this game. Like that would have been more frustrating. I do wish he had a better passing game. I would have liked to have a little bit more to show for it, but I am not upset with this at all. How about Pinnock at safety today? Says Zachary Berner. Pinnock has played well. I don't know when they moved him to safety, but I know he's starting like today, but I don't know what happened. Don't know what happened when they started doing that, but I like it all the same. Boys and girls, if you're just dropping in here, make sure you hit a like. If you like that we won, or if you dislike that we lost, maybe still like the video, I'll get to get a little bit more love on the stream. Jake Klein says Zach has shown nothing. Apparently, Jake has not watched much football. I know it's not the Patrick Mahomes wow type of season or anything like that, or the I don't know. Again, it's not Herbert-esque or anything of that nature, but we should be happy with what we're getting out of our rookie quarterback right now. Let's see. Nose Kills drops in the super chat. Nose Kills says Jets in Super Bowl 2025. 5 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Red zone. McDermott and Mims on fade routes. Who's your first read? Go. Clearly, it's McDermott. McDermott can catch the ball. I don't know what's going on with Mims, but man, he looks like he is probably not going to make this roster next year. I would be very surprised if Mims is on this team at the start of next season. Like, if you want to say he goes through training camp and maybe plays preseason with us, but I would be surprised week 1 if he wound up being there for us. Hunter Smith says, Texans beat the Chargers. How does that impact us? It doesn't. Because we won this game, our strength of schedule is drastically different now. For the better for the Texans, for the worse for us. So we are, at this point, if us and the Texans wind up losing out, there's no way for us to overtake them for that 3rd spot. We would need either Jacksonville or the Lions to win 2 games for us to move up at this point. Or I guess the Texans would have to win another game and we would have to lose out. So by and large, not ideal. What else are we talking about? Old Bear Plays says should have traded Mims at the start of the season when he had trade value. If we knew what we knew now, then yeah, absolutely. But I would have lost my mind if we traded Denzel Mims. I'd be so upset. This guy's so talented, and he just not good, not good at all. Let's see. Oh, here's a reasonable fucking Jets fan. Manny DeJesus, brother, says draft another quarterback. Get the flock out of here. Stop it. No. HMNI Cadoza. Who cares? We get a top 2 offensive lineman and a great secondary player or a playmaker. Look, let's be honest. We needed the edge rusher. that was the spot we needed. So hopefully one falls at 4. So we'll see. J.E. says Berrios has heart. I respect that. Berrios has been playing harder than I think anyone on this entire roster the entirety of this season. This is the type of player you reward with a contract and hold on to this team, because if you can have 53 players playing with the effort of Berrios, you're not going to lose many games. Absolutely. You see Strickland echoes this as well. Berrios has been the most reliable wide receiver all season. Let's see who we got here. Jets Reaper says, now I hope we get Moore and Becton against the Bills and just knock them down or out. Payback for 2015. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. Look, I want nothing more than to knock the Bills out of contention. That's the one win I want. If there's one win for us to get the rest of this year, that is the one. Right now, the Jets are sitting at the 4th overall pick. If the Jets were to wind up winning next week's game, now I don't know what the Giants and Bears have strength of schedule wise, but assuming they lose, if the Jets were to win another game, we fall down to the 7th pick because of tiebreakers. Our schedule is not favorable for tiebreakers anymore. For the most part, we would actually, if we had the same record as Seattle at some point, we would be behind. Oh no, tied with Seattle if we had the if we do end up with the same record. So be careful what you wish for. If you actually want to win, win. I don't want this backing out of the. I don't know. Sucks. Jake Klein says Detroit is clearly better than us. I do think Detroit is playing harder than us. I thought they've played harder than us all season. I do not think they are the second worst team in the league. I do think the worst team in the league is the Jaguars. Then I would say the Texans. Then I would say the Jets. And then I would say Detroit maybe just after that. I think the Bears are probably somewhere in that discussion as well. But I do think that we are not the worst team, and I do think Detroit is better than what most people are probably giving them credit for. What else are we talking about in here? James, Jets won, Pats lost. It's opposite day. It's almost like I almost had a heart attack with the goal line stop. In a good or bad way. Could have been either way. Could have been either way. With our luck, we trade Mims, he becomes an all-pro. It's clearly not going to happen with us. From what I've seen, I would rather trade him, get a second, and him become an all-pro elsewhere than us just continue to fizzle away potential talent or assets that we could have otherwise had. Fat Gandalf says, does today's win mean Hutchinson is a better Hutcherson is a better coach than Salah? I bet many Jets fans say yes. Hutcherson, that's not the name. Zimmerman? Is it Ron Zimmerman? Was that the name of our coach today? I guess technically, right? Like he winds up having a higher percentage. Oh, Terry. Love your show, Ryan. Thanks, Terry. I was always wondering if you watch Tyson and Kevin's show. I do. I shouldn't say I watch it a lot, but I do keep an eye on them. They're good dudes. I've invited them onto my streams before. Just hasn't had an opportunity to happen yet. Oreo says, I don't see how we get better. We have so many holes. Eventually JD has to start spending on some talent. Yeah, we'll see it this year. I think last year made sense to not go overly crazy in the free agent market because you want to see what players you have in-house that could fit some roles, guys like a Berrios possibly, where you don't have to go out and spend some money. Like maybe he is one of your solutions. I don't know. 1189 Paris. Ryan, I'm not giving up on Mims, but the coaching staff, and now most of the fans have. Yes. I'm okay with that. James Beatty says, Ryan, at least for A- for the special teams on your game grading. Yes. I give them an A- because they missed an extra point. They don't get the perfect score, but Berrios has played phenomenally well this season. Kicker hasn't missed any field goal kicks aside from the low extra point. I can live with that right now. We'll see. What else are we talking about? Do you think Berrios deserves a large extension? No, I don't think a large extension, but I would sign him for a year or two. Where you wind up signing him or how much you sign him for, I don't know. What do you think? $5 million? What did Crowder take? 4 or 5? So maybe he's somewhere in that realm. Brian, hey, would you ever consider partnering with Blewett and doing a broadcast together? Him doing a play-by-play and you doing color would be fun to watch. Ooh, that would be a blast. I like Joe Blewett a lot. He could provide some fantastic insight, and I could just ramble and make jokes the entire time. I would love to do that with Joe. I don't think either of us likes. I shouldn't say either of us don't like doing it. I have a hard time enjoying the game while I'm calling the game because I don't feel like I get to really like listen to everything I want to listen to, and I feel like I get distracted because I'm watching the highlights and I'm like not doing what I'd like to do. But we'll see. Maybe we'll get that in the works. Jorge says, "Hey Ryan, how do we get you on ESPN to rant about the Jets with Green or Rich Eisen?" You don't want to see me rant about the Jets. I would like to believe I'm way more composed than other people might think. Like I could see Greeny going off and be like, "Oh, they lost. He has this game, whatever. Only 102 passing yards, and they lost the generational prospect in the edge rusher." That's what Greeny's going to say tomorrow. Calling it right now. Kenneth says, "No, trade Mims. Send a message." Meaning, yes, trade Mims is what he's saying. Berrios might want to win a ring now that he has ring now, so he may not be back with the Jets. It's possible. I hope not. I would like to keep Berrios. What else we got? Draft the best defensive end and offensive lineman in the first, cornerback and wide receiver in the second, tight end in the third, and linebackers and safeties in the fourth. Hey, look, I could get on board with that. It's going to depend on defensive end and where the Seattle pick ends up, because do you go offensive line early? Like, do you take someone like Linderbaum inside the top 5? Or do you take the third best defensive end at the top of this class? Edge rusher is definitely a huge need for us. And I do think an edge rusher at the top is more valuable with when compared, or not compared, in conjunction with a, say, second round center or a third round center, as opposed to maybe the top center and the second round edge, for instance. So Gitmo Bob says, "Nobody in this draft is generational. Maybe somebody earns it, but not yet." How many times have we heard generational? And it winds up not being true. Settle down, Jet fans. Settle down. Got plenty of time. Look at this. Kevin's coming up with a good name. Kevin says he loves Karlaftis and how hard he plays. I'm a big fan of Karlaftis. Big fan. Matthew says, "Ryan, who's the other Michigan edge you like? Forget not Hutchinson, the other one that gets the forced fumbles." That is Ojabo. Ojabo has a knack for stripping the ball out of the quarterback's hands, and I would love to see us add him with the Seattle pick. I would love to do maybe Hamilton, safety, in conjunction with him, or if you want to go Linderbaum. It just gets weird because like that fourth pick is kind of a no man's land, because more than likely neither of the top 2 edges are going to be there. That's still too high for me to really love taking Karlaftis or Ojabo. It's going to be interesting. Going to be see what we wind up doing. What happens? Kaiser, Vernon Golston fell in the draft. Oh, please don't tell me that. I don't want it. I don't want it to happen. Kev Chatta says, "Jonathan Abraham was the last good edge we had. Thibs was the guy." You never know. Might still get him. It would not shock me to see him slide down draft boards. It wouldn't shock me to see him 4th, 5th, somewhere in there. He's not the rock solid number 1 overall pick that we thought he was going to be at the beginning of the season. Thomas Cahill, Wilson becoming a game manager. That's okay. I'll take game manager. If he could be a game manager through his first 3 years and then really start clicking, I'm all right. I could do with that. Cause havoc with Ojabo, says Ed Stewart. Carl Lawson is that guy, says shoot HBK. Would love for Carl Lawson to come back 100%. That would be absolutely massive for this team. 1189 Paris. This might be the year that Joe trades down or trades up to get Hutchinson. I don't think we trade up. I think we have far too many holes on this team to worry about moving up in the draft. I could see us trading down. I could definitely see us trading down. If there's a quarterback that winds up rising up the ranks, and maybe a team wants to jump in front of the Giants if they think someone might take it there. I don't think they take a quarterback, but I would trade down. Kenneth, Ryan, did you want the Jets to win or lose? I wanted Zach Wilson to look really, really good, and I would have preferred a loss. But you know what? C'est la vie. I'll take the win, and I'll take the look. Tanking and getting a top draft pick hasn't really worked out for the Jets. We've lost a lot of games. Let's start winning. But yeah, I'd be lying if I wasn't saying I was rooting for a touchdown there at the end, losing by way of defense. Manny says, trade first pick to get more value back for the future. I would drop down. If you're sitting at pick 4 and you could slide down to pick 10 or 12 and you wind up getting the edge rusher with the Seattle pick and you get a top linebacker with the other pick, plus maybe you picked up like a first next year. I don't know how you could be upset with that. James says, I remember how you reacted after the Jets-Rams game last year. Yeah, so do I. I was not happy. I was so upset. I got picked up by a Jaguars radio station down in Florida, and they talked about my reaction on their newscast. That was pretty interesting. UCF Jaguar actually sent me that one. Let's see. Gohan said, yeah, I did want Creed. I will agree with you there. Not sure what he said, but yeah. Would have liked Creed as well. Manny Romano, we are all looking at the draft to improve the team, and rightfully so. But for me, this is the Joe Douglas chance to really make his mark on this team in free agency. This is the offseason to do it. Projected $50 million. Yeah, this is why you want to kind of win games at the end of the season with Zach, because you want free agents to get excited about his potential. The only thing is we didn't really get to see a crazy, amount of potential. We saw the running around, which was really cool, and him with 3 additional wide receivers, like wide receiver 1, 2, 3, probably makes this team look a lot better. I would think you probably didn't come away watching today's game thinking, wow, Zach Wilson, I want to sign with the Jets, which is kind of why this win doesn't feel so much like a win. But I do want to see Joe Douglas go out and sign some big name free agents, get this team excited to get some wins, get them excited to want to be in position to win. Like, you bring in some good players, all of a sudden that sends a signal to the rest of the locker room saying, hey, we're ready to win. We're ready to start playing some games. Don't roll over. Hang in there, guys. Hang in there. Clay Wavy says, Hamilton first pick, Linderbaum second pick. I would absolutely sign up with that. I would absolutely sign up for that. If you could book that for me right now, I'll take the safety that is quote-unquote generational with the quote-unquote generational center. Lock it up. Sean 24, would you trade back into the first round to get a wide receiver after taking edge and O-line with the first 2 picks? I would definitely consider it. Depending on what it costs you to get back into the first round, how much is it worth it for you to have that extra year of eligibility? You have that your 5th year option. Let's see, if the Jets are picking like 36th or so, and you want to trade up to like 28, what does that look like? Do you give up your other second? I don't want to do that. Do you give up a third? Maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't be against it, but I wouldn't be all for it either. And Joey Trust, I personally don't care where we fall in the draft order. I'm confident in his drafting. Better the past few GMs drafting. Yes, better than the last few GMs. You'll see a lot of people give Joe Douglas shit for the 2020 draft, and he does deserve some flack for sure. Becton has looked like a stud when healthy, but when he's not on the field, obviously that's an issue. Mims can't stay on the field, can't even crack into the starting lineup, so that's clearly an issue. So hopefully we get more of the 2021 draft prospects than the 2020 draft prospects. And I would imagine that this coaching staff had a lot to do with the types of players that we were looking to try and bring in this year. But guys, let's kind of leave it there. I don't want to make this last too long. Jets wind up winning. Jets wind up winning 26-21. They get their 4th win of the season. They are no longer in realistic contention for the number 1 overall pick. Jaguars firmly in the driver's seat for that position. Zach Wilson gets his first victory over Trevor Lawrence, getting that little bit of a redemption game on. I love it as much as we don't love it. We win, but we lose. We lose, but we win. I just want to win and feel like a win. That would be nice, right? All right, guys. Jets win 26-21. My name's Ryan. I've been your pilot. This is Jets Talk signing off. Jet.